So here's another installment of our Leadership is Influence series. Liz Draven Hope, a student at Oklahoma Wesleyan University, had some questions about leadership, and we recorded the interview about an hour and a half long. And so I decided to chop up the interview into the different questions that Liz had for Ben and I. So I think this is question 4. It's about reflection in leadership and how that influences how you see yourself and if you learn from mistakes.
Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
So the next one is, do you ever reflect after the fact about how effective your behavior was in a particular situation? Is this ever a source of new or different insights?
I would say yes. Do I ever reflect? I reflect too much.
Mm.
Way too much. As a matter of fact, I would go into Jordan's office and I would say, I said this in the meeting the other day and I'm not quite sure, blah, blah, blah. Then next week after the meeting, I'm not sure how I came off on approaching that subject in that particular way, blah, blah, blah. Then the third week, you know, um, I thought I was coming off a little too hard, or I don't think I made my point. And she goes, man, she finally said, man, you really think a lot about what you say, and that's just let it go. Just say your. I don't think nobody is taking it as seriously as you are, if at all. They just heard you say something, and that's it. But you replay it over and over and over and over in your mind, and days later you're still talking about it. Basically, she was saying in a nice way, just shut up, just get
Don't
over
beat
it.
yourself up.
Don't beat yourself up. Just move on. My God, self reflection is good, but whew, I was taking it to the extreme, and what I was proving to her was that I am not a confident person,
Mm.
and I was
Well, it's
doubting.
situational because I wouldn't say about you, you are not a confident person. I know you pretty good, pretty well.
Yeah,
But I do think it can be situational. And I agree with kind of like, everybody deals with fear and, and fear can be a very kind of controlling thing that happens. It could be very destructive force right there between your ears. You don't have to have anybody else involved in the conversation but with yourself, after something happened. And there's always ways we can say things better, do things better, that sort of thing. Um, Fear is that thing that gets into your mind, and it is absolutely, doggedly persecuting you, and you're doing it to yourself. And so I think, like an after action review, for some kind of meeting that you had, thinking back on how you said something, was your prep right? I think those things are extremely valuable, but you have to turn them into learning and action so you can remove it from, this kind of area of regret that's really built out of low self-confidence and fear. And so if you really, so I think those things are very important, as part of the learning process, whether you did something great or did something not so great. It was whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. I think there's things you can take. Man, this thing worked so well. I'm going to always start my presentation with X, Y, Z. Or I'm always
mm,
going to have a certain number of graphs in here. Because it was so compelling. Or when somebody said was kind of opposing my idea, I think I reacted a little too emotionally to it. If you need to go apologize to the person, then go do it. You know, and then learn. So, okay, so I need to learn how to be a little more measured, or maybe I'm too measured. When I'm doing stuff, and I have to have more enthusiasm. Than my measured response. It can be all those different things, and fine tuning is something I don't think you ever stop doing. But I think it's really important to do those things to evaluate your performance and take whatever action is necessary to shore it up in the way you think it needs to go, and then move on.
yeah, I would agree. I mean, I reflect all the time. I reflect too much. Is ever a source of new or different insights?
Yeah,
Is
that
this
can
ever?
kind of work you into a corner, right?
Mm-hmm. Is this ever a source of new or different insights? Ever a source of new or different? I mean, behavior, particular situation, behavior. I've reacted negative. I've had bad reactions to things, and it didn't work out well.
Good thing it's never happened to me.
Yeah, yeah.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Deetso Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.